Teedra, welcome to London. Welcome to Bang Radio.
Yes, thank you guys so much for supporting me.
Of course, got to support you all the way. So, you've had a musical presence since 2003, and for those people that have never heard of Teedra Moses, which I could not believe why they wouldn't have, describe your style of music.
I make banging, easy listening music.
Banging, easy listening music.
Yeah, I make banging, easy listening music. I mean, and I speak about reality.
Yeah.
And I sometimes say things that are very harsh in a very sweet way. I
know you do. You've hit the nail on the head.
I've been doing this for a while, so I figured it out. I thought about it and I figured it out.
So you're a singer-songwriter.
Yes.
How did you get into that aspect of the music industry, the writing aspect?
Actually, shopping a demo. Back when people actually used to have to shop demos. You don't do that anymore. But
yeah.
Back then, you would go around to different labels and shop a demo. And so when you let them hear songs, they would say, oh, well, we have a lot of female artists, but can we have this song? And I never felt attached to any songs because I felt like I could always do it again. Only one song I never sold was "Be Your Girl," and I made like maybe 5 or 6 other ones for other people just like it. But I never sold that one song. But other than that, I would never be attached. So that started me writing for other people. Okay. Writing for myself, they just like the song.
Oh, okay. So is that something you always wanted to do?
No.
What, you know where I'm going with this, right? What spurred you to take that road?
The route of writing for people?
Yeah.
Money, honestly. I got into shopping my demos, getting songs placed with other artists and being paid for it, and then seeing my BMI checks come through, and it was very lovely, so it's like, oh, okay, well, at that time I felt like no one was listening to me. My label's not that interested in me, so I might as well just go out here and get this money writing for other people.
Okay, so were you on a label before Complex Simplicity? Actually?
No, I was on the label for maybe 2 years before the album
they just
came
had
out.
You sitting on the side?
Just kind of, I don't know what was going on. Labels feel like they have to take time to put things together or whatever. I'm grateful to TVT, but yeah, I sat there for a little minute.
Okay, so how important is it to you that singers write their own music?
To me as a fan, that means the world to me, because we were just talking about this earlier. It's funny you asked me that, because I like to know the artist. Michael Jackson, rest in peace, was one of the greatest performers alive.
Yes.
But Prince is one of the greatest artists ever to live.
Yeah.
Because you get to know who he is from his music, and I appreciate knowing the artist. It's one thing to sit down in an interview and we get to know who you are, in a conversation, but when I can get to know you in your music, it's a big deal, and that only can come if it's truly coming from your thoughts and your heart and your soul and your spirit.
Yeah. So what about artists that don't write their own stuff?
I still love them, but I don't take anything from them at all. But I personally probably won't, have your album in my
top 10.
I'm like a Stevie Wonder, Janelle Monáe, Prince, those kind of artists are the ones that really stand out. But at the same time, I love Chaka Khan.
Okay.
Who didn't write her own songs. She does now, but didn't always write her own songs. Okay. And Mary, who wrote some of her songs and didn't write some, So
when you write, because you wrote for Mary J. Blige, I think you wrote So Lady.
Yes.
Do you write with that artist in mind?
That particular song, yes. That was an opportunity that came to me through Raphael Sadiq, and he was like, he had the hook already. He was like, I want this to be a song like, Aretha Franklin, You Make Me Feel Like all this kind of stuff. So yeah, that was that in mind. But initially I just would write songs, and then kind of like if you design a dress and then you don't know who you're designing it for, once you see who can fit it and who looks good in it, that's kind of how it goes.
So Complex Simplicity was a fantastic album.
Thank you.
It came out 2004. Explain to me what was going on at the time of its release and why the promo of it was so poor.
Well, I was on an indie label, TVT, and they had never put out a R&B act before. They had Lil Jon, they had Yin Yang Twins, they had Pitbull, and this was stuff that if you go take a record to the club, and to John's defense, he was a DJ, so he knew how to make a record and take it to the strip club, and whereas I make a lifestyle kind of music. You can't just take my music to a club and see if people gonna like it, and you kind of have to really put a marketing plan behind it, and I don't think that they knew how to do that, and I didn't. I had no clue about what all went into promoting the album because I just was focused on making it.
Yeah.
You know, back then we didn't know we had to know everything. Now you know when you come into the game, you have to know how to do everything.
Yeah.
You have to know how to do every single thing. But back then we didn't know, and it was something that I'm very proud of because the fact that people know about it anyway and found out about it anyway off of just it being a product that people could get into made me very happy, made me very proud of it.
That's cool. So I love the title personally because life is simple, but it is complex, and that's definitely what the album portrays. What track do you feel more affectionate to?
Definitely Shirley's song.
Yeah.
Because that was the last song I recorded, the only song that was very hard. I broke down crying like 3 or 4 times in the midst of trying to record it, and it just was like the realest thing happening to me in my life at that time. Everything else was the kind of things that you go through as a young woman, you know, love, breakup, heart, blah, blah, blah. But losing your mother is like heavy.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like that's the real things that happen to you in life, and I think that song just resonated with anyone. You know, you don't have to be a girl, you know, you don't have to be black, you don't have to, you just, anybody could relate to that song.
Okay, so singer-songwriter, has there ever been a time when your writing has got you in trouble?
No, never.
Not at all?
No, and I don't.
Or have you been in a situation, it could be any situation, and something's coming to your head and you just have to stop what you're doing and write?
Oh, yeah. Well, I used to feel guilty because I have twin sons. And I used to write in the car all the time. And I had an SUV, and the beat was real banging in there. You know?
Yeah.
And so I would get in the car, and I would go, and I would get my inspiration, and I would drive around, involving myself in my inspiration. And I would write songs for like 3 hours. This was before gas starts cost as much as it does. And 3 or 4 hours, and my kids would be at home with my niece or my brother, and I used to feel so guilty that I was out doing this the whole time and enjoying myself, not thinking that I was working. To this day, when I write, I feel guilty when I close myself off away from everybody, enjoy myself so much by myself, having fun writing. I feel like I still don't see it as a job.
Yeah. Is that how you write though? Is that just every artist works in a different way? Do you set time aside to write, or is it just spontaneous?
That's my lifestyle. That's just my lifestyle. Like, you know, I wake up in the morning, I get involved in some inspiration, and then normally some type of song comes after that. Or, you know, if I'm just hanging out with my friends, it's so sad, because if I'm hanging out with my friends and we're involved in some inspiration, I get off into the corner by myself and get into writing a song in my head. Or sometimes people can be talking to me and I'm involved in some inspiration and it just comes to me like songs, and I don't even hear them.
Do songs, is it like the songs just come to you like you're a vessel, or do you like get a hook first and then the verse?
It just comes like sometimes it's just like okay, for instance, this is lyric, break it down, roll it up, break it down, roll it up. That's been in my head forever. Break it down, roll it up, break it up, you know.
Okay.
And that's been in my head forever. The other night I'm in New York, finally I hear a track and that I see where that's supposed to go.
Right.
It's just 2 words. It's just 2 words, and it took me to a whole song, you know. But that's just kind of how it is. Sometimes something will play over and over my head. The crazy thing is sometimes in the car and there's no music on, and I'll press something to rewind, but it's really just in my head.
Oh, right.
It's really crazy. Yeah. I'll be singing something in my head, writing in my head, and because when you have a beat going, you press it to rewind to go back to the top to start writing again. But there's nothing. And that's how music kind of is in my head. It's just like in my world, it's there. It's constantly going.
That's crazy.
Yes, I'm a weirdo girl.
So you're from New Orleans.
New Orleans, Louisiana.
Yes, exactly. What was life like growing up for you in that area? Because there's so many influences in New Orleans.
Real. If you meet anybody from New Orleans, they're probably one of the most down-to-earth people. You know, we're very real people. And in our household, the radio stayed on 24 hours a day. This is back when the radio, you wanted to really listen. It wasn't like the programming of everything being all the same. You know, regions had their own music being played. And we listened to the radio all day, every day. And everything was just so, you know, if it wasn't our radio in our room, then it was us in the car with our mom going to and from school with gospel.
Right.
And if it wasn't gospel, then you're in school where your teacher is a jazz teacher, so you're hearing jazz. You know, like the culture of New Orleans, the musical culture of New Orleans is so broad, from rock and roll to Zydeco to you name it. We have it all there. And I absorbed it all without even paying attention. You know, it's not something that you say, oh, I want to set out to learn about this, that, or the third. It comes to you in that city.
So between Complex's Simplicity 2004, you had one official release, album release, but a number of mixtapes. Okay, how important is it for you? How important for you is the mixtape arena?
It's very important to me as an artist because the world didn't give this to me. God did. So the world can't take it away from me. And the world being whatever powers that be, the world being labels, the world being the industry, whatever it is, I have no animosity or antipathy or, frustrations or anything. My job is just to put out music. And it'd be great to put out commercial releases as much as I put out mixtapes. But if that's not possible, I'm not going to stop making music.
But your mixtape following is ridiculous.
I'm grateful. I'm really, really grateful. I'm really, really, I swear that's the only thing I say is grateful. But I have to put out. We were just having this. Me and my sister were just having this conversation the other day. Like, she's like, we're gonna have to push this back. I'm like, girl, listen, it's boiling in my skin. I have to put out music because I feel like it feels good for somebody to relate. It feels good for people to be able to relate with what you honestly feel.
So how easy is it actually to put out a mixtape?
Putting out a mixtape is really easy. Now people becoming aware of it. I can put out a mixtape. And 2 years later is when people really are aware of it. Now it's starting to become really much quicker because of the internet, But when I first put out my first mixtape before Complex Simplicity came out, so it wasn't as easy to become aware of it. Now that's like a classic mixtape because it's very hard to find, So it's something that's pretty easy. You put it together, you put it out. You don't really sell it like that, so it just kind of floats around, and word of mouth is what takes it where it goes.
Yeah. Because for me, when you put out Complex Simplicity and then I didn't hear about you, then I heard of these mixtapes. A lot of artists put out one album and then you don't hear from them again. So it's like if they had just put out mixtape just to keep their name in people's ear, that they would have more longevity, and that's exactly what you've done. And I think the mixtapes have actually carried you through.
It's a blessing. To tell you this, I tell people all the time, my call into music is like somebody, and I don't want to make it sound deep because it's not. I'm really not that deep of a person. But it's like if somebody's called to preach, or if you call to minister in song or whatever, like a spiritual calling. If you're called to do those things, no one can stop you from doing that. You have to do it. It's like a job that you have to do. So that's how music is for me. It's not really about if it's being commercially received or whatever. It's just like, girl, I got to put this music out.
Yeah, exactly. So recent sign. I don't even know how to put this. Are you signed to MMG?
I'm affiliated with
I've got that
MMG.
written down.
That's great. It's a great word.
So you've appeared, on Amsterdam, and you've appeared on Self-Made. All right. How important is collaborating for you?
It should be more important.
You do a lot.
I do, but I don't really reach out. Like, I don't see what people don't understand is I'm not an industry person. I'm a chick that lives in Miami with twin sons, and I like to make music. I'm an artist more than I'm an industry person. So collaborating with people is just like, if you like it and you want to holler at me, you want me to sing on you.
But you see, with MMG
it's very organic.
With MMG now, you got kids who are listening to Ricky Rose and are like, who's this female singing on this thing?
That's super cool. I love it. I love it, and I probably should set out to do it more, but that happened organically.
Yeah.
He liked my voice. He liked what I was doing. He said, come on, let's get down with it. It happened organically. Like, I'm not the chick that's like trying to beat down people's doors, to be involved. If it comes together organically, it's great. And when it does, it is great. And I'm so grateful that did,
Yeah. How important is it for you to have total control over your music?
Very important. That's one of the most important things to me. When it all comes down to contractually, I don't want to be controlled because I know who I am. I'm a grown woman. I take in ideas from other people, suggestions and all that, but it has to fit into the vision I have for what I'm trying to do.
Okay, so if I was to come to you tomorrow and say, Teedra, I've got a contract for you, you wouldn't really want a contract because whatever you're doing is fine for you.
What did you say? I'm sorry.
If I was to come tomorrow and approach you with a contract, like a for you to be signed, I'm going to sign you. Is looking to be signed something that you're looking to get signed, or are you happy doing the kind of indie kind of thing?
I always want to go to the next level. For the message to be spread to more people, for more people to hear my voice, it's really like a testimony for me to win. So of course I want to do that. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to sacrifice, myself or my vision or my integrity or my true artistry for anything.
Okay. So you won't be doing any dance music soon?
I love soul house music.
Really?
Though. I
Okay.
love soul house music. Like, give me a monotonous beat. See, let me just start here. I am no kind of music snob. There's dance songs that I like. I like everything. I like music. I will never. People can put me in a box, but I won't sit there. I'm a rebellious person. You put me in a box, I'm gonna jump out just because you told me I was supposed to be in there. So I'm a writer, honey. I can make a dance song that make you like it. I bet you I could.
You probably could. I was gonna ask you. Have you got any new artist recommendations for me? People that I might not have heard of, and you think you're listening to, and you think, you know what, this person's gonna blow.
I like a guy by the name of 108K who's not very well known out of
One Oak.
Yeah, 108K.
See, I never knew how to pronounce. So, what are your thoughts on the new wave of R&B artists?
I love it.
Your Frank Oceans.
I love it. Nothing can stand still forever. Everything has to evolve. You know what I mean? Like, I think that what makes you a great artist is to be able to evolve.
Yeah.
And his way of writing is no different. And it really boggles me that people think it's new, because
it's not new. It's just that I think it's just people have just tuned into it now.
Yeah, that's all. Because he does soul music like the rest of us. He got records on there that sound like they could have been on some Neo Soul album in the 90s. No, for real, real talk. So like, I just think that people think too much about it. If it feels good, roll with it. Whatever it is.
Well, as you said, people like to put things in a box, so they think it's a new wave of R&B. So, your new album, Lioness.
The Lioness Lover, Believer, Dreamer.
The Lioness Lover,
Believer, Dreamer, Thinker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, when can we expect to see that album?
That one I don't know, but I have a project coming out called Empress Pride. See, that project, the
Before
Lioness.
that?
Yes. That project, the Lioness Lover, Believer, Dreamer, that turned into Lover, Believer, Dreamer, Thinker, is one that I want to embellish on so much that it takes a lot of funding. Okay. So I give other projects, like how I gave mixtapes and stuff like that, before that I don't put as much emphasis on. Not that I don't give my all, but my expectations of it is not, I can't put it out because it's not where I want it to be.
Okay.
So I have to give you something before that. And Empress Pride is one that is coming this year. We had an April date, but I think it's been moved to May. Right. And we've been shooting videos for it. We have 2 already in the pocket, and I'm trying to shoot one here in London before I leave. And it'll have a visual to each one, and it'll be a project that when you come to the shows, you automatically get it because it's in your ticket price, like a bundle. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. So, winding this up, 3 nights, sold out.
Yes.
Jazz Cafe again, plus an after party on Saturday night. Yes. And you're back next year, I hear.
Yes.
Oh gosh. What is it about Teedra Team UK that you love? Because you might as well buy a house here, Teedra.
I know, which is expensive over here, child. I already live in Miami, and that's expensive enough. But you know what? I have a very fond place in my heart for London and for the Jazz Cafe, because this was the first city that I came to when I heard people singing my songs back to me, to the point that I dropped the mic and just was hearing these people singing my songs. Whereas when in the U.S., I would do shows, and it's like they didn't really know of me, and I had to learn that just because they were staring at me, that didn't mean they didn't like it. They were just trying to absorb it. When I got here, people just really showed me that they not only did they love it, they believed in it, and they were living by it, And I think I just have this relationship with the UK period, not just London more so, but the UK period, that they chose me. I wasn't forced down their throat. I wasn't on the cover of every magazine. I wasn't always on it. They just chose me, and it's just a honest relationship I have with the fans here. Yeah.
So when I was at the last show, you must be the only artist that I know that stayed to the very end to take a picture with literally every person, sign things, posters, everything. Do you get male groupies? Is there such a thing as a male groupie? Would you like a male groupie?
Nah, not really, but I guess kind of, cause but I think my personality is kind of one that they don't go too hard like that. They'll come up and they'll say, "Oh, Teedra, I want to take you out, blah blah blah," but you're not be like, "Child, please," and you just keep on going. You know what I mean? It's like, when you get off stage, you can't get into a guy after you get off stage and he's like looking at you as this chick on stage, because that's just part-time Teedra. That's not. That's that part of me. It's not all of me.
Yeah, that's cool. So, what can we expect from you at the Jazz Cafe on all 3 nights?
All 3 nights, sincerity, intimacy, and spontaneity. It's not like I'm super rehearsed. Whatever I feel at the time, and we're gonna. If you have never been to a Teedra Moses show, it is not neo soul. I don't do neo soul music. I'm just a ghetto girl out here singing songs that's grown up now, you know.
I know.
I can be wretched. I can be overtly sexy. People might not think it's sexy, but girl, you can't tell me nothing. I be thinking I'm super sexy. So I mean, like, it's not neo soul. It's not like I'ma stand in one spot with a mic in my, you know, and just singing and, you know, trying to send out peaceful vibes. No, we get crunk. We turn up, as we say in the US. Okay. We turn up.
Oh, that's cool. So on Saturday night, you've also got the after party.
Yes.
What is your drink of choice?
I drink cognac.
Okay,
especially in the winter.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to line you up with some cognac and I'm going to show you how to party at Legacy on Saturday night. But I've got to say, where are you going after Jazz Cafe? I mean, are you staying in the UK? Are you going to Europe? Are you going back to the States?
I'm going to go back home because, like I said, I'm working on this project, the Empress Pride, and it has to be done for release for early May. Okay. So it's like a focus. I had already had this set up, but that's my focus right now. We did a run on the west coast of United States recently, and after this we just wanted to lock down and really focus on putting out this project and getting all the different content that we need to set it up. I'm gonna do a lot of different live streaming. Like I'm gonna do just a live stream from my living room with my friends over.
That's cool.
Singing songs from the EP. Like, I just want people to get me. Yeah. You know, I think TVT didn't do a really good job presenting me to people, and I'm just gonna give myself raw and see if people accept that.
Yeah, if you want something done right, you do it yourself. Because you're on Instagram. Where can people find out more about Teedra? Because you're on Instagram now. You're tweeting all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, I Instagram. I cheat because I Instagram, tweet, and Facebook all at the same time because that's the only way I can manage it. And I'm gonna start on Keek tonight.
Okay, that's a new one.
Yeah, that's the new one. Yeah. Okay. It's the video one. I try to stay up on it, girl, because it's a whole lot. Like,
it's a whole different game, Teedra.
Yes, girl. Managing that whole social network thing is a job.
I know. You need to employ somebody to do that.
Yes, exactly. But you can find me at teedramoses.net or .org because they both kind of lead to the same place. Yeah. You can find me on Twitter at Teedra Moses. You can find me on Instagram at Teedra Moses, Facebook /Teedra Moses, however it goes. I'm not on Facebook that much, but get on there. Like, if people start getting the followers up, I don't know how many we have. We got like over 20 or something like that. That's cool. But get way more, and then maybe I'll start talking directly to people on Facebook. But I'm always on Instagram, and I love following interesting people. So, like, if you holler at me on Instagram, I holler back. Like, I try to talk to people. You know?
Okay. Well, Teedra, thank you very much for giving me some of your time. Have a wonderful 3-night shows at the Jazz Cafe. And
thank you.
Good luck with your albums coming out.
Thank you so much.
I love you. Thank you.
I love you back.